Is that actual Volcanic Ryzeal? Yes, it is. Make sure you guys smash the link, crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. Now, I gotta tell you, this regional breakdown, this is by far some of the heaviest competition that we have seen out here. And this actually is kind of insane for Philly to actually be a 4-4 split across the middle here for your meta variants, which is actually kind of interesting. Now, on the Ryzeal side here, we have 3 Fiendsmith versions with 1 build that had no sub-engine. And we also had 3 of those 4 Maliss lists. We're playing the Sky Striker package in here in order to kind of outperform. And then the last Maliss version was not playing any of the heavier package stuff that I think, you kind of were wanting to hear about. Now, what fun stuff I can tell you about this event. In 9th place was a Volcanic Ryzeal list. Now, I'm really sad that we didn't get the chance to see that list making its way into the top cut, but the fact that they were able to go, what was it, 7-1-1 in order to, or 8-1-1 in order to push through to that top presence is very, very, very commendable. And I love getting the chance to see that out here. You don't really see much of that opportunity in these meta challengers really doing the thing. Oh yeah, he finished 8-1-1, which is insane to be seeing out here. So there's that. But when you have a regional like this, where you have more people showing up, seeing more of a roguish challenger showing up on the back end of things is always going to be very warranted. Now, it is kind of, I understand this regional is more of the meta side of things. You're not going to get anything too crazy out of this, but this does kind of show, based on the regions out here and these big differences that we are seeing in terms of these numbers, it is very, very, very interesting to see what is going on. So let's pass on over to those deck lists because I'm sure you're very curious about Volcanic Ryzeal. You guys enjoy some of these awesome deck profiles. Now, in terms of what has been figured out in the meta, I'm not going to lie, a lot of these are going to look pretty straightforward in terms of what you're kind of expecting here. So I'm glad to see Node is still getting some love in the Fiendsmith package in here. In terms of your Fiendsmith stuff, I mean, it's what, 1 Larry, the triple engraver with the 1 Lacrima, which is fine. You do have the build-in of the Fiendsmith in Paradise because this card's bonkers. We're actually pushing the Cowboy down here into the side deck for a time, which is kind of interesting. I also see that we have 1 Ghost Bell in here as a cross-out target because, being able to stop that good card from hurting you is pretty good. Ultimate Slayer for the mirror match. And of course, I see we have some Solemn Strike action down here. Strike has been seeing a tremendous uptick as of late. The Strike being able to punish your opponent and just tell them absolutely not, we're not doing this today, has been one of the better actions that we have seen out here in the current modern standard for the game. So I'm really digging this. This is actually pretty cool. In terms of the rest of this deck, I see we are going with the 2-tracked. Honestly, 3-track does feel a little bit clunky in this deck. We're also doing the Nibiru Woos, so we can climb down or punish the opponent's big boards. See, we are doing the Moon of the Closed Heaven as we should. I mean, 2 monsters is full combo, so it's not really all that crazy. And then, of course, SP to kind of clean things up. Yeah, in terms of what you've got going with this deck, seems pretty standard to me. All right, Maliss. Hey, you guys notice anything weird here? There's no Ash Blossoms in the main deck. We've evolved beyond the need for the joyous spring. Ha ha ha. Instead, we're going more board breaker approach to things here. The Book of Eclipse to clean up the board. And I see that this deck is choosing to actually play the Dominus Impulses in the main deck. That's actually quite interesting. You also got the Infinite Permanences back here to kind of clean up some of the extra stuff. So yeah, you do have 6 hand traps present in the deck, including, your buy steals to get the job done. Yeah, Druisform is just going to be a free extender to kind of bump things on out and do your thing. We were also playing the Dimension Shifter down here as well. Good old Shifter being that very fundamentally broken card. And the fact that I think that this build can actually afford to Shifter a little bit more easily is actually kind of one of the things that allows you that navigation room to do your thing. But I didn't expect to see this build kind of take off in the way that it has. Hornet Drones has really kind of proven its worth out here. It's being able to make the Kagari toggle on into the next token and move on in to, setting on up into a normal summon to, go down the 3 lines so that you can actually do what you need to do. yeah, that's fundamentally how this deck works right now. So it definitely so much different than what the TC or the OCG version of this deck was starting to look like. All right, now I see that we've also got another striker version here for you, but you automatically straight off the bat, you're going to notice that, ooh, those Ash Blossoms are back in this build. So now we kind of rewind back to the thought process. You know, do we need these? I think card's pretty good. I think you're doing yourself a disservice by not acknowledging this card's place in your deck. Now, this build also went with triple Druisworm, which, let's kind of call it what it is here. Druis is good. I do like the one-up Baldrake, though. There are a lot of opportunities that I can say while I've played against this deck that if your opponent just has the Baldrake Druisworm, it is such a shitty situation to deal with. But, I mean, that also involves you being able to deploy multiple Bysteals and use those Bysteals to kind of, you know, control your opponent to keep the game going in your favor. And that those are some major things to think about, you know, at that. I see, of course, we are going with the Allure of Darkness in here. And, of course, we are doing the 2 Chessie Cats. I think 2 Chessie has pretty much locked itself in. TCG variant doesn't really want to deal with bad ratios with this. And then, of course, yeah, the Gold Sark. I see we are also side decking the Meteorologic Aggregator. That's kind of interesting. But, you know, I guess it's just so you can shave it off of the Ultimate Slayer. But you're also only playing one Ultimate Slayer. So I guess the logic here is, like, you got to bait your opponent to thrust on into this to clean up the opponent's field. But, like, even so, that does not necessarily feel all that good. But okay. All right, we have some more Fiendsmith action for you out here. Man, people really do love this build. 41 cards for this version. I see that this build did choose to play Bysteals in here, so we are doing the Druisworm and the Magna Hut. This is kind of where you've been seeing the Chaos Angel show up a little bit more out here. The fact that the Chaos Angel just allows you to put this big, stupid boss monster on the field, and your opponent's just forced to kind of look at it and go, oh, yeah, yeah, I got nothing, duelist. You know, continue on through your turn. You do see that those Ghost Spells down here showing back up. This card is really, really good against Maliss. Like, honestly, it's there's a reason why this card's been pretty MVP. I also see here that we are playing Judgments and Strikes down here. Now, Strike was already seeing a massive uptick in value, but the fact that we're tossing Judgment into the equation as well, and not only you're dedicating 6 slots to these things as well. There's no thrust in here, you know, there's no dimensional barrier for the mirror match, for all those little extra things. This duels just felt like they didn't need it. I also see that we are playing a Typhon down here, also dedicating 1 slot to the Duo Drive. I think 1 Duo is pretty normal for the hybrid build, because you don't want to bulk down too insanely hard on this card, even though it is typically a very, very good thing to have. Outside of that, I'm glad to see that the Ogre is getting some love in here, but no Droll and Lockbird anywhere to be seen in here. Big old sad day, but you know what? That's fine. All right, it's not necessarily the worst of the things to see. And then we have our Volcanic build. Now, this list really, really, really is some hilarious stuff. So we're playing the Electro Blaster in here. So this is basically going to be on our normal. You can normal or special summon of a fire monster. You can special summon this card from your hand, and then you can send a level 8 power monster from your deck to the graveyard. All right. So keep in mind, on if you normal or special fire, there's a free extender. You know, gonna just kind of shout out, you know, we have plenty of these little guys. You get to drop down the Volcanic Emperor here, and then all you gotta do is get into the sublines down here and to get into the big guys. I mean, by banishing 3 pyro monsters, huh? You know, I have a feeling to tell you, but I have a feeling this is gonna be a pretty easy go-to to get the big guy on the field so you can actually burn pressure your opponent out of the game. I also see we are playing the Volcanic Emission down here as well. In terms of some other cute little things, I mean, I see we're citing all the Mulcharmies. Also have the Vidos on the bring up to kind of punish the opponent. We also have the anti-magic arrows in here as well. Depending on the situation, I see we're also doing some Heat Wave in here. Being able to turn skip, this is something that, you know, every deck should be at least aware of right now. You're quite possibly able to do. Pulling off the turn skip, pretty important. I also see we are doing triple Rafflesia in here. So I guess your best inboard as well, like setting up the Rafflesia with the Dreadnator next to it, depending on how things kind of set up. And, you know, you get the big guy up and running, and your opponent just, their dueling career is supposed to be done at that point. I don't see anything wrong with this. This is kind of cute, to say the least. So what do you guys think about these cool little lines? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons! Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.